The Unity station floated silently in the vast black of space, a silver beacon against swirling nebula clouds that glowed in shades of purple and gold. Its massive rotating rings caught the light of the nearby star, scattering bright streaks across the polished surface like a million tiny fireworks. Ships of every shape and size orbited the station, their hulls gleaming under the sun's light. For 100,000 years, the Galactic Council had used this neutral station to host the Centennial Military Showcase. Every century, the greatest fleets in known space came together here to display their power, their technology, and their pride. Today was different. Today, for the first time in history, humans had been invited. Commander Ethan Kane stood on the observation deck, looking out at the glittering scene. His dark blue uniform was simple, almost plain compared to the elaborate and colorful armors of the alien commanders already gathered. Yet he carried himself with calm authority. His eyes scanned the docking bays, noting the designs of ships that had dominated space for millennia. None of them intimidated him. He simply studied them. Across the room, Admiral Zorvak of the Azuri Empire adjusted his ceremonial sash. The tall, thin alien had shifting blue-gray skin and 3 eyes that blinked in sequence as he watched the docking ships. His long fingers tapped impatiently on the railing. "I still think inviting humans is a mistake," he muttered under his breath. "Rules are rules," said Trelka, the massive red-scaled commander of the Krell Dominion. Her 4 shoulders rose and fell as she shrugged. "They've had faster-than-light travel for 30 years. The Council says any species with FTL must be invited. No exceptions. Rules can be bent," Zorvak replied sharply. "But what can they possibly show us? Their ships are like children's toys compared to ours." Nearby, other alien leaders voiced similar skepticism. Chief Strategist Myron, an insectoid with chittering mandibles, tapped a claw against a console, explaining in rapid clicks how his swarm-class vessels could outmaneuver any human craft. General Grohl, whose rock-like skin made him resemble a walking monument, laughed loudly at the idea of humans building anything worthy of real combat. And then there was Mindmaster Paxer, his soft, glowing eyes calm and unassuming, clearly amused by all the arguing. The 5 represented the most powerful military forces in the galaxy, and all of them shared one opinion. Humans did not belong here. The main doors slid open with a quiet hiss, drawing every gaze in the room. A human stepped through, alone. Commander Kane walked with measured steps, his expression calm and unreadable. Unlike the alien leaders, he carried no weapons, no ornaments, no signs of prideful display. His dark blue uniform was neat but minimal, and his posture was relaxed but firm. He stopped in the center of the hall and nodded politely to the assembly. "Thank you for the invitation. Earth is honored to join this historic summit." Zorvak was the first to approach. He towered over Kane by nearly 2 feet, his 3 eyes narrowing. "Commander Kane, I am Supreme Admiral Zorvak of the Azuri Empire. We were surprised to hear humans would attend." "Good surprises make life interesting," Kane replied, his small smile polite, almost playful. Trelka's heavy footsteps echoed as she came forward, her massive claws leaving faint dents in the polished floor. "Battlemaster Trelka of the Krell Dominion. Your species has achieved much in a short time, human, but this summit showcases the pinnacle of military achievement. I hope you are not overwhelmed." "I appreciate your concern," Kane said calmly. "I am here to learn as much as to share." One by one, the other alien commanders introduced themselves. Myron clicked his mandibles. Grohl rumbled. Paxer merely smiled. Each greeting carried a hidden assumption that humans were weak, inexperienced, or naive. Kane responded to each with quiet respect, showing neither fear nor arrogance. The station's AI voice suddenly echoed through the hall. It was soft, metallic, but clear. "All representatives have arrived. Please proceed to the presentation chamber for the opening ceremony." The grand hall was vast, with a holographic display in the center showing the Unity station itself, surrounded by hundreds of ships. The alien leaders took their seats on a raised platform, while Kane was directed to a smaller chair to the side. A tall, silver-skinned mediator floated above the stage, featureless and serene. Welcome to the Centennial Military Showcase. The mediator's voice resonated, coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. For 100,000 years, this gathering has maintained peace through the balance of power. Today, we welcome our newest spacefaring neighbors, the humans of Earth. There was polite applause. Kane noticed that some alien delegations barely moved their tentacles, claws, or limbs in acknowledgement. Presentations will begin with our established powers, followed by our new guests. The mediator continued. Admiral Zorvak, you may begin. Zorvak stepped forward, activating a holographic control on his wrist. A dark vessel appeared in the air, fading in and out of visibility. The Shadow Reaper, he announced, the pride of the Azuri fleet. Its adaptive camouflage renders it invisible to all known detection systems. It can strike a target and leave without ever being detected. The crowd murmured appreciatively as the ship shimmered and disappeared. Kane watched carefully, making notes on a small pad. Trelka went next. A massive dreadnought appeared on the hologram. The Planet Breaker, she growled. The largest battleship ever constructed by the Krell. Its main cannon can crack a planet's crust from orbit. The display showed a simulated moon shattering into massive chunks. Gasps echoed around the hall. One by one, the other alien leaders demonstrated their fleets. Myron's thousands of drone fighters moving in perfect formation, Grohl's impenetrable shields, Paxer's mind-weaving powers that could induce terror without firing a single shot. After each presentation, all eyes turned to Kane, waiting for signs of awe, intimidation, or fear. He remained calm, taking notes, occasionally nodding in appreciation. His face betrayed nothing. Finally, the mediator turned to him. Commander Kane, the Council now welcomes Earth's presentation. Zorvak smirked. Yes, human. Show us what your young species has cobbled together. Kane stood and faced the assembly. Instead of activating a hologram, he simply looked around the room. Thank you for your impressive demonstrations, he said. Earth's contribution is still en route. It will arrive tomorrow morning. Murmurs ran through the hall. Some laughter, some disbelief. Your ship is late? Myron clicked, sounding incredulous. Not late, Kane said, calm and firm. Right on schedule. Some things are worth waiting for. Trelka leaned forward, towering over him. Why not show us at least a diagram? Kane smiled faintly. We prefer real demonstrations over simulations. You will understand tomorrow. As the session adjourned, the 5 alien commanders exchanged glances, confused and skeptical. Did you see his face? Trelka muttered. No reaction to our ships. Perhaps humans are too primitive to understand what they saw. Or, perhaps they have something they think will impress us, Paxer whispered, eyes still fixed on Kane as he walked away. Trelka waved dismissively. Unlikely. We will all be underwhelmed. But Kane walked down the corridor with a quiet smile. He tapped his wrist device and sent a single message. Stage set. Bring her in. Tomorrow, the aliens would see that humans were far from what they expected. The Grand Hall of Unity Station was alive with anticipation. Hundreds of ships floated silently outside the massive observation windows, their sleek hulls reflecting the soft glow of nebula clouds. Delegates whispered among themselves, their voices a mix of curiosity and pride. Today, each fleet would present their greatest achievements, their most powerful vessels, and the technology that had kept their civilizations dominant for millennia. Commander Ethan Kane sat quietly to the side, his dark uniform simple against the intricate armors of the alien leaders. He opened his small pad and made a note. Observe, learn, adapt. Calm, attentive but never nervous. Supreme Admiral Zorvak stepped forward first. The blue-gray alien's 3 eyes blinked in sequence as he activated a wrist control. A sleek, shadowy ship shimmered into the air. The Shadow Reaper, pride of the Azuri Empire, Zorvak announced, his voice echoing across the hall. This vessel can become invisible to all known detection systems. This cloaking allows it to strike without warning, and it leaves no trace behind. The ultimate predator requires no armor when it cannot be seen. The holographic ship flickered in and out of visibility, performing maneuvers faster than most of the assembled audience could follow. Murmurs of appreciation swept through the alien delegations. Kane's gaze never left the display. He studied its movements, noting the ship's strengths and potential weaknesses. Next came Battlemaster Trelka. The massive red-scaled alien stomped forward, causing the floor to vibrate beneath her for powerful limbs. A massive dreadnought materialized above the platform, dwarfing the Shadow Reaper in every dimension. "This is the Planet Breaker," she growled. "The largest battleship ever constructed by the Krell Dominion. Its primary cannon can crack the crust of an entire planet from orbit. No fleet has ever survived a direct strike." A simulated moon appeared on the hologram. With a roar of energy, the dreadnought's cannon fired. The moon shattered into massive chunks, scattering across the display. Gasps and murmurs of awe echoed through the hall. Chief Strategist Myron, the insectoid commander, clicked his mandibles in excitement. Thousands of drone fighters formed around his ship, moving in perfect synchronization. "Behold the swarm cloud of the Hive Collective. No enemy vessel can outmaneuver my drones. Coordination, speed, and numbers are everything. Observe their precision." The drones darted and twisted in complex formations, simulating attacks, evading counterattacks, and reforming seamlessly. Kane nodded slightly, noting the patterns, the strengths, and the obvious limitations of relying on sheer numbers. Then came General Grohl. His stone-like skin shimmered under the hall lights as he activated his hologram. A massive fortress-like ship appeared, its surface gleaming with layered shields. "The Obsidian Guard," he rumbled, his deep voice resonating like rocks grinding together. "No weapon can pierce its defenses. Shields calibrated against energy, projectile, and plasma attacks render it nearly invincible. Strike it, and you will only see failure." The Obsidian Guard's shields shimmered under simulated laser fire, absorbing the impact effortlessly. Many in the audience nodded in admiration. Kane's eyes, however, studied the angles and the energy feedback on his pad. Finally, Mindmaster Paxer approached, his soft, glowing eyes calm and unnerving. He activated a hologram of his ship, the Neural Weave, which emitted waves of soft, pulsing light. "Observe the capabilities of the Luminina Concord," Paxer said in a quiet, almost melodic tone. "Our vessel can influence the minds of enemy crews, projecting fear, hesitation, and surrender. With this, wars can be won without firing a single shot." A simulation of enemy ships appeared. Their crews panicked, weapons fell silent, and they surrendered one by one. The demonstration was subtle, frighteningly effective. Kane made a small note: psychological manipulation as a weapon. Advantageous, but predictable. After each presentation, the alien leader's eyes flicked toward Kane, searching for any sign of intimidation. He gave none. Calm, focused, and attentive, his silence spoke louder than words. Finally, the mediator's voice echoed across the hall. "All presentations from established powers have concluded. Commander Kane, the floor is yours. Earth is invited to share its contribution." Zorvok leaned forward slightly, his three eyes narrowing. "Yes, human. Show us what your young species has cobbled together. Surely, it cannot compare to centuries or millennia of mastery." Kane rose slowly. His calm movements contrasted with the towering, elaborate postures of the aliens. He did not activate a hologram or display diagrams. Instead, he looked around the hall, meeting each alien's gaze in turn. "Thank you for your impressive demonstrations," Kane said, his voice quiet but carrying across the room. "Earth's contribution is currently en route. It will arrive tomorrow morning." A ripple of murmurs ran through the hall. Some delegates laughed. Some muttered in disbelief. "Your ship is late?" Myron clicked, sounding incredulous. "Not late," Kane replied, calm and firm. "Right on schedule. Some things are worth waiting for." Trelka's four shoulders rose as she leaned forward, massive claws resting on the platform edge. "Why not show us at least a diagram? Surely your species has some schematic to demonstrate." Kane allowed a faint smile. We prefer real demonstrations over simulations. You will see it tomorrow. The alien leaders exchanged glances, a mix of skepticism, curiosity, and thinly veiled annoyance. Did you see his face? Trelka muttered to Grohl. No reaction to our ships. Perhaps humans are too primitive to even understand what they saw. Or, perhaps they have something they think will impress us, Paxer whispered, eyes following Kane as he left the stage. Trelka waved dismissively. Highly unlikely. We will all be underwhelmed. Kane's smile remained hidden to all but himself. As he walked down the corridor, he tapped his wrist device. A single message flashed. Stage set. Bring her in. Tomorrow, the alien commanders would learn that human ingenuity could challenge even the mightiest fleets in the galaxy. The stage was ready. The playing field was set. And the humans' greatest surprise had not yet arrived. Evening fell over Unity Station, though in the eternal darkness of space, it was more a matter of ceremonial lighting than an actual sunset. The observation dome glittered with thousands of artificial stars, reflecting off the polished surfaces of alien armors and human uniforms alike. Inside, the Centennial Military Showcase continued, not with formal presentations, but with mingling, diplomacy, and subtle games of one-upmanship. Commander Ethan Kane stood near one of the massive curved windows, watching the alien fleets outside the station. Ships of all sizes floated like jewels against the dark void. Sleek fighters, hulking dreadnoughts, clouded formations of drones, and massive planetary cannons. Each vessel was a testament to centuries, sometimes millennia, of advanced engineering and combat experience. Yet Kane's expression remained calm, almost thoughtful. He took in the sight, noting patterns, formations, and defensive designs. Every movement of every ship told a story, a weakness, or a strength. His small, well-worn pad captured his observations with quiet efficiency. Humans may have been newcomers to the galaxy, but Kane had learned to study before acting, and the lessons of observation were often more valuable than firepower. Impressive, isn't it? A voice spoke behind him. Kane turned to see Supreme Admiral Zorvak approaching, holding 2 glasses of a swirling, amber liquid. The Azuri officer's 3 eyes blinked rapidly, a subtle sign of curiosity mixed with skepticism. I appreciate good engineering when I see it, Kane replied, accepting the offered drink. He took a careful sip. The liquid was warm, slightly sweet, with a faint, unfamiliar spice that reminded him of cinnamon. Each fleet has its own strengths. Zorvak nodded slowly. Your reaction to the presentations was unusual. Most newcomers would have been awed or terrified. Kane shrugged. We have an Earth saying, he said quietly. Never show your cards too early in the game. Zorvak tilted his head, clearly puzzled. Cards? It means, Kane explained with a small smile, don't reveal your strengths until the right moment. Before Zorvak could respond, the deep rumble of Trelka's voice filled the room. The massive red-scaled alien strode across the observation deck, each step shaking the floor slightly. Behind her followed Myron, Grohl, and Paxer, their expressions a mix of curiosity and impatience. There he is, Trelka said, her voice booming. The human who keeps us waiting. Surely you could have shown us at least a schematic of your ship. Kane took another slow sip of his drink, his calm smile never fading. I prefer to let actions speak louder than words. Another Earth saying. Myron clicked his mandibles rapidly, the insectoid version of laughter. Perhaps there is nothing to show. Perhaps this is just human bluffing. That would be unwise, Kane replied, his tone firm. Earth doesn't bluff about military matters. Grohl chuckled, a sound like rocks grinding together. Tell us, human, what could your species possibly create that could compare to what we have shown today? You've had space travel for barely a century. We've crossed the stars for thousands of years. Kane turned to face all 5 alien leaders. His calm eyes met theirs. We may be young in space, but we have something that many older civilizations lack. Adaptability, creativity, and the willingness to learn from every encounter. Tomorrow you will see what I mean. The alien leaders exchanged glances, their skepticism unchanged, though a flicker of curiosity sparked in Paxer's glowing eyes. Around the room, delegates from distant civilizations moved among the groups, discussing technology, politics, and military doctrine. Floating servers carried drinks of every conceivable color and composition, from fizzy metallic liquids to slow-moving gels that shimmered with internal lights. Some aliens sampled the offerings cautiously, while others, like Myron, seemed to enjoy the novelty. Ethan took note of the station's environment, of alien social interactions, and of the subtle ways in which they sized each other up. In many ways, understanding behavior was just as important as studying ships or weapons. A single misread glance could lead to misunderstanding or worse. He also sent quiet instructions to the team coordinating the human ship's arrival. Check trajectory. Shields at standard levels. Weapons offline for demonstration mode. Docking bay ready. Crew on standby. Everything had to be perfect. Humanity could not afford mistakes when presenting itself to these fleets. Meanwhile, the alien commanders continued their private conversation, unaware that Kane had left them with only the vaguest sense of what was coming. "Did you notice how calm he was?" Trelka asked. "None of the awe we expected," Zorvak replied. "Perhaps they simply don't understand what they saw," Grohl suggested, though even he sounded unsure. "Or," Paxer whispered, "perhaps he has something planned that we cannot anticipate." Trelka snorted dismissively. "Highly unlikely. Humans are clever. Yes, but nothing we have seen so far suggests they can compete with our fleets." Kane returned to the window, watching the stars and the alien ships. A small smile touched his lips. He tapped his wrist device again. A single line of text appeared. "Tomorrow they will learn. Stage is set." The night, or rather the ceremonial darkness, stretched on. Aliens laughed, boasted, and drank, confident in the superiority of their fleets. Humans, as usual, moved quietly, efficiently, and deliberately. And somewhere in the vast docking bays of Unity Station, the human battleship waited, sleek and silent, ready to make its debut. Its design was unfamiliar, unlike anything the alien leaders had ever seen, combining advanced stealth technology, adaptive shields, and modular weapons capable of transforming in mid-combat. For now, it remained hidden, a quiet promise of disruption. The stage was ready. The players were in place. Tomorrow, the Centennial Military Showcase would witness something entirely unexpected. A human battleship that could challenge the mightiest fleets in the galaxy. Not with brute force alone, but with strategy, innovation, and unpredictability. Ethan Kane closed his pad, straightened his uniform, and allowed himself a small, private smile. The game had begun. Morning arrived, or at least the ceremonial equivalent, on Unity Station. The observation deck glimmered with 1,000 lights, reflecting off the polished surfaces of alien armors and human uniforms. The aliens had gathered early, eager and impatient, buzzing with excitement and expectation. Today, the humans would finally reveal their contribution to the Centennial Military Showcase. Commander Ethan Kane stood at the edge of the docking bay, calm as always. Behind him, the crew of the Sol System Defense Force moved with quiet efficiency, checking systems, shields, and communications on their sleek, unfamiliar vessel. The human battleship, named Resolute, rested in the station's shadow, almost invisible to the untrained eye. Its surface was a deep metallic gray, angular yet elegant, a design that seemed almost alien in itself. "Commander," one of the officers whispered, "they're waiting. The alien fleets are assembled outside. Everyone is watching." Kane nodded. "Then let's give them a show they'll remember." Outside the station, 5 of the galaxy's most powerful fleets hovered, massive ships forming intimidating formations. Supreme Admiral Zorvak's Shadow Reapers floated like predators in the void. Battlemaster Trelka's Planet Breakers bristled with energy cannons. Myron's swarm drones buzzed in anticipation. General Grohl's Obsidian Guards gleamed under the light of distant stars. And Mindmaster Paxer's neural weave pulsed softly, a subtle psychic hum emanating from its hull. The alien leaders whispered among themselves. Many doubted the humans could produce anything that would even register as a threat. Kane, standing silently in front of the Resolute, tapped a control on his wrist. "Prepare for arrival sequence," he said calmly. The docking bay doors opened, and a soft hum filled the chamber. Resolute glided out, its sleek hull reflecting the station's lights. To the alien leaders, it seemed smaller, almost delicate, compared to their massive dreadnoughts and swarm carriers. Trelka's 4 shoulders rose in a questioning arch. "That is your contribution?" she growled. Kane's calm voice carried across the comms. "Size isn't everything. Some things are far more dangerous when they are unpredictable." The Resolute shifted, and for the first time, the aliens noticed something extraordinary. Its hull shimmered and adapted in real time, adjusting to the observation sensors outside the station. Zorvok's eyes blinked rapidly. "Adaptive shielding? That's impossible at this scale." Kane activated the ship's demonstration mode. Small weapons modules extended from the hull, transforming from defensive arrays into precision energy cannons. On the monitors outside, the ship's AI simulated attacks from the alien fleets. The energy cannons fired, moving with split-second accuracy, dodging and countering without visible human input. Myron's drones lunged forward in a coordinated attack, but the Resolute responded instantly. It deployed micro-countermeasures that disabled dozens of drones mid-flight, then turned their attacks against each other, neutralizing the swarm entirely. Grohl's massive obsidian guards fired volleys of energy blasts. The Resolute's shields adapted immediately, changing frequency and density to absorb and redirect the energy. Every shot that could have destroyed a lesser ship glanced off harmlessly. Even Paxer's neural weave, designed to disrupt minds and induce terror, had no effect. The Resolute's AI anticipated psychological warfare and emitted countersignals, confusing the neural weave and rendering its mind attacks useless. Trelka fired her Planet Breaker's simulated moon-cracking cannon. Resolute danced in the void, its thrusters firing in perfect, unpredictable bursts, dodging each blast with precision. Then it deployed a series of small decoy vessels that mirrored its movements, leaving the aliens unsure which target was real. Zorvok's 3 eyes widened in disbelief. "It's impossible for a single ship to do this." Ethan Kane activated the final phase of the demonstration. Resolute's adaptive hull released a soft blue glow, signaling its transformation. Small modules from its surface extended into defensive and offensive arrays, creating multiple temporary ships, each controlled seamlessly by the AI. The human vessel seemed to multiply, outmaneuvering entire formations, striking at every weakness simultaneously. The alien fleets fell silent. For the first time in centuries, none of the most powerful commanders of the galaxy could find a flaw. Their technology, experience, and confidence seemed meaningless against a ship that thought and adapted faster than they could react. Trelka, normally brash and arrogant, muttered under her breath, This is beyond anything we expected." Zorvok leaned closer to his console, clicking rapidly in disbelief. "Humans, they aren't bluffing. They actually built that." Kane remained calm, his hands clasped behind his back. "You have all shown your power," he said quietly. "We respect it, but respect alone doesn't guarantee victory. Ingenuity, adaptability, and strategy do." The alien commanders exchanged stunned looks. Even Paxer's usually serene smile was gone, replaced by a flicker of genuine curiosity. Ethan tapped his wrist device again, and the Resolute's modules retracted smoothly, returning the ship to its original elegant form. The demonstration ended, and the human vessel hovered in the station's shadow, silent once more. But the impression it had left on the galaxy's greatest fleets was undeniable. Zorvok finally broke the silence. "Commander Kane, you have proven one thing. Your species is far from what we assumed." Trelka nodded slowly, her pride shaken but her respect growing. "We underestimated you. That much is clear." Kane inclined his head slightly. "Tomorrow you will see more. Today was only a demonstration. Our true strength lies not in firepower alone, but in thinking differently." As the alien fleets retreated to their formations, whispering among themselves, Kane allowed himself a small, private smile. Humanity had not only arrived, they had announced themselves to the galaxy in a way that no one could ignore. The stage was no longer empty. The players were all aware of the new contender. And from this day forward, the Centennial Military Showcase would be remembered as the moment humans proved they were a force to be reckoned with. The vastness of space outside Unity Station was alive with movement. Hundreds of alien ships formed imposing formations, their hulls gleaming in the nebula light. Commander Ethan Kane stood on the observation deck, calm and composed, watching the alien fleets organize themselves. Today, the aliens wanted a demonstration, a simulated battle to see if humanity's Resolute could survive against the galaxy's most powerful forces. Ethan's small crew moved efficiently in the docking bay. Resolute hummed quietly, ready for action. Its sleek hull reflected the light of distant stars, and the modular weapons and adaptive shields were online, awaiting Kane's orders. Zorvok, Trelka, Myron, Grohl, and Paxer observed from the observation deck, their expressions a mix of skepticism and fascination. Each was confident in the superiority of their fleets, but the events of the previous day still lingered in their minds. Humans had already proven they were unpredictable. "Begin simulation," Kane said simply. His voice carried calm authority. Immediately, the alien fleets reacted. Zorvok's Shadow Reapers accelerated, attempting to ambush Resolute from multiple angles. The sleek human ship responded instantly, its adaptive sensors detecting each predator craft before they could strike. Resolute twisted in three-dimensional maneuvers that no human or alien pilot could execute manually, its AI perfectly predicting enemy movement. Shadow Reaper neutralized. The ship's AI reported in a calm voice. Miniature decoys launched from the hull, confusing the Reapers and forcing them to retreat. Zorvok's three eyes widened in disbelief. Trelka's planet breakers fired massive energy volleys, each blast capable of pulverizing smaller ships. Resolute moved with uncanny precision, dodging each attack with a combination of thrusters and decoy holograms. Small, retractable cannons fired back in calculated bursts, disabling the shields of a simulated target without taking any damage. "Impressive," Myron clicked, his mandibles trembling slightly. He released a swarm of drones, thousands of tiny craft moving in perfect coordination. They buzzed toward Resolute like a living storm. Kane calmly activated Resolute's countermeasures. Micro-EMP pulses disabled hundreds of drones mid-flight, while automated counter-drones turned the swarm against itself. One by one, the alien drones fell, and the remainder were neutralized without a single human firing a manual shot. Grohl's Obsidian Guards moved next, massive ships designed to withstand planetary bombardments. They unleashed volleys of energy beams, each shot calculated to pierce even the toughest shields. Resolute's adaptive armor shifted instantly, absorbing and reflecting the attacks in ways that seemed almost impossible. The alien general's confident rumble faltered. Paxer, normally serene, attempted his mind-weaving powers. The neural weave projected fear, hesitation, and confusion toward the human crew, attempting to disrupt their coordination. But Resolute's AI had anticipated psychic interference. Countersignals and mental noise nullified the effect, leaving the human crew calm and composed, their decisions precise and coordinated. Kane's voice was calm as he observed the battle unfold. "Observe, learn, and adapt," he muttered to himself. Each alien tactic was neutralized, each advantage countered, and each surprise met with calculated response. Then came the decisive moment. Trelka, frustrated and furious, directed her planet breakers to concentrate all firepower on Resolute. Simultaneously, Zorvok's Reapers, Myron's drones, Grohl's shields, and Paxer's mind attacks focused on the human ship, attempting to overwhelm it. Resolute reacted in perfect synchronization. It released multiple decoys, confusing targeting systems. Its modular weapons transformed mid-flight, engaging each threat with pinpoint accuracy. Shields shifted dynamically to absorb combined energy blasts. Countermeasures disabled drones and disrupted enemy sensors. And the AI guided the human crew flawlessly, executing maneuvers that seemed impossible to the alien commanders. The alien leaders watched in stunned silence as the human ship survived unscathed. Every tactic they employed, every advanced technology they unleashed, was met and neutralized by the Resolute. For the first time, centuries of military dominance seemed insufficient. Zorvok's eyes blinked rapidly. How is this possible? Trelka's massive shoulders dropped slightly. They are too coordinated, too fast. No fleet should be able to do this. Even Paxer's usual calm demeanor cracked, his glowing eyes narrowing in concentration. Their mind cannot be anticipated. It adapts. Kane's voice cut through the observation deck silence. This is the principle of human strategy. Adaptability, innovation, anticipation. We do not rely solely on size, history, or brute force. We observe, we learn, and we respond. That is why a single ship can challenge fleets that outnumber and outgun it. The alien commanders finally understood. Humans were not merely inexperienced newcomers. They were different, clever, adaptable, and unpredictable in ways no alien civilization had experienced in thousands of years. As the simulation ended, Resolute retracted its decoys and returned to a calm, stationary position. The alien fleets hovered, silent, reassessing what they had witnessed. Zorvok finally spoke, his voice heavy with grudging respect. "Commander Kane, your species is unlike any we expected." Trelka nodded slowly, her pride humbled. "We misjudged you. That much is certain." Kane allowed himself a small smile. "Respect must be earned. And today we have shown that humans are more than what appearances suggest. Strength is not measured in size or age, but in adaptability and thought." The alien commanders exchanged glances, each processing the implications. The galaxy had just witnessed something extraordinary. A human battleship that could neutralize centuries of experience, technology, and pride with calm, intelligent strategy. The simulation had ended, but the message was clear. Humanity had arrived, and it had arrived not to participate as a minor player, but to change the rules of engagement entirely. Ethan Kane returned to his crew, calm as ever, already making notes on the performance. The humans had proven themselves, but the real work, the lessons, and the challenges of the galaxy were just beginning. Space outside Unity Station was alive with the hum of massive engines and the faint glint of weapon systems. For the first time, the 5 alien fleets moved in coordinated unison, combining their powers to test the humans' claim that one ship could withstand their might. Commander Ethan Kane stood calmly in the Resolute's command center, surrounded by his crew. Their expressions were focused, but never fearful. "This is it," Kane said quietly. "Observe, anticipate, adapt. Everything we've trained for, everything we've studied. It all comes down to this moment." The 5 alien leaders, their faces etched with concentration and some doubt, watched the humans from the observation deck of Unity Station. Zorvok's Shadow Reapers moved first, vanishing and striking from multiple angles. Trelka's Planet Breakers unleashed volleys of energy designed to crush the Resolute's hull. Myron's drones swarmed like a living storm, Grohl's Obsidian Guards prepared devastating shielded barrages, and Paxer's Neural Weave radiated waves of psychological pressure, attempting to paralyze the human crew with fear. The aliens were confident that the combined assault would overwhelm any single vessel. They had never faced an opponent capable of countering all 5 at once. But Kane remained calm. "Deploy decoys," he ordered. Within seconds, Resolute released multiple copies of itself, each moving independently, creating confusion among enemy sensors. The Shadow Reapers struck blindly, hitting only holographic projections while the real ship maneuvered undetected. "Shield's adaptive mode," Kane instructed. The Resolute's armor shifted dynamically, recalibrating in real time to absorb energy blasts from the Planet Breakers and the Obsidian Guards. Every shot that could have shredded the hull glanced harmlessly off the adaptive plating. Myron's drone swarm advanced, thousands of tiny craft forming a tight storm around the human ship. Kane activated the micro-EMP system, disabling hundreds of drones instantly. The remaining drones collided with each other, turning the swarm into chaos. One by one, the drones were neutralized with minimal effort. Paxer's mind attack hit next. Waves of fear and disorientation swept through the crew. Yet the Resolute's AI anticipated psychological warfare. It emitted subtle countersignals, disrupting the neural weave's influence. The human crew remained calm, coordinated, and precise, executing maneuvers that made the alien commanders gasp in disbelief. "This is impossible," Zorvok muttered under his breath, eyes widening as the Shadow Reapers found themselves outmaneuvered. Trelka's massive dreadnoughts fired their largest volleys, energy blasts capable of annihilating small moons. Resolute twisted in three-dimensional patterns, dodging each attack with a combination of thrusters, decoys, and preemptive predictive maneuvers. Small energy weapons emerged from the hull, targeting the alien ship's weak points with surgical accuracy. The 5 fleets struggled to coordinate. Each alien tactic that had worked individually was countered when combined against a vessel that could think and adapt faster than they could. The Resolute moved as if it were 5 ships in one, every action calculated, every reaction anticipated. Grohl's deep rumble of frustration echoed through his comms. How can one ship survive this? No fleet should withstand simultaneous fire from 5 empires. Paxer, usually calm and silent, whispered in awe. It adapts. It anticipates. It is perfect. Kane's voice cut through the chaos. This is human strategy. We do not rely solely on brute force or sheer numbers. We observe, we learn, and we adapt. That is why one ship can challenge fleets that outnumber it. For a moment, space seemed frozen. The alien commanders exchanged uncertain glances, each realizing that centuries of experience and power were not enough against human ingenuity. The arrogance they had carried for millennia began to crack. Resolute deployed the final phase of its demonstration. Miniature drones extended from the ship, creating temporary offensive and defensive units. They moved with perfect coordination, neutralizing the remaining threats, dismantling enemy formations without losing a single module. The 5 fleets found themselves reacting, not attacking, constantly adapting to the humans' unpredictable tactics. When the battle simulation ended, the Resolute returned to a stationary position, calm and unscathed. The alien fleets hovered silently, their confidence shaken, their pride humbled. Zorvok spoke first, his voice a mixture of respect and disbelief. "Commander Kane, your species, your ship, you have proven something we did not think possible. Humans are not merely newcomers. You are innovators." Trelka's massive shoulders relaxed slightly. "We misjudged you. We underestimated your ingenuity. Today, we have learned that strength is not measured in size or age, but in thought, creativity, and adaptability." Paxer finally allowed a rare smile to appear on his glowing face. "Humans, you have something that no other species has mastered: unpredictability." Kane inclined his head slightly. "Respect is earned, not demanded. We have shown that humans think differently, adapt faster, and can challenge even the greatest fleets. That is what makes us strong." The alien commanders looked at one another, slowly realizing that this young species had changed the balance of power in the room. For centuries, they had relied on size, technology, and experience, but the humans had demonstrated that cleverness, strategy, and innovation could overcome all of it. The observation deck was silent, except for the quiet hum of the human ship and the distant glimmer of alien fleets. The turning point had come. Humanity was no longer a minor player in the galaxy. They had arrived, fully capable of challenging even the most powerful civilizations. Kane allowed himself a small, private smile. The humans had proven themselves. But he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown threats and challenges, and every victory came with new lessons. Today, the aliens had learned something crucial. Human strength was not measured by numbers or weapons, but by thought, adaptability, and the willingness to act when others hesitated. And that lesson would echo throughout the Centennial Military Showcase and beyond. Unity Station gleamed under the glow of distant stars, quiet and calm after the intense battle simulation. Outside, the alien fleets hovered, still regrouping, their massive ships reflecting light across the nebula clouds. Inside, Commander Ethan Kane stood with his crew on the observation deck, calm and composed as always. Today had changed everything. For the first time in the history of the Centennial Military Showcase, humans had not only participated, they had earned respect, even awe from the galaxy's most powerful fleets. The 5 alien commanders approached Kane, their expressions a mixture of humility, curiosity, and grudging admiration. Zorvok's 3 eyes blinked slowly, a gesture that in Azuri culture indicated serious contemplation. "Commander Kane," he said, his tone measured, "humans are unlike any species we have ever encountered. Your ship, your tactics, they are extraordinary." Trelka's massive shoulders lowered, a clear sign of respect replacing her usual arrogance. "We misjudged your species," she admitted. "We assumed inexperience, weakness, but you have proven that adaptability and strategy can overcome even the greatest fleets." Myron clicked his mandibles, his insectoid version of a nod. "Your coordination, your planning, and your ability to anticipate our actions. It is remarkable." Grohl's deep voice rumbled, still tinged with disbelief. "Size, experience, numbers, none of it mattered against you. You have shown us something that no other species could." Even Paxer, who had remained calm throughout, allowed a rare smile to appear. "Humans, your unpredictability is your greatest strength. You think in ways that others cannot comprehend. That is why you survive, and why you will thrive." Kane remained calm, his hands clasped behind his back. "Respect must be earned," he said quietly. "Today we have shown that humans can adapt, innovate, and respond to any challenge. But this is only the beginning. The galaxy is vast, full of unknown threats and opportunities. We will continue to learn, as all species must." The alien leaders nodded slowly. Their pride, though bruised, had given way to genuine admiration. The arrogance they had carried for centuries was tempered now by the realization that a young species from a small blue planet could stand alongside them and hold its own. The Centennial Military Showcase mediator, tall and silver-skinned, floated to the center of the chamber. Its featureless face seemed to radiate approval. "The demonstration by the humans of Earth has exceeded expectations," the mediator said. "For the first time in history, a newly spacefaring species has demonstrated both the ingenuity and capability to challenge the established powers of the galaxy. This is a milestone that will be remembered for generations." Kane inclined his head politely. "Thank you. We are honored to participate." The alien fleets began to slowly rotate away from Unity Station, forming into neat formations as if acknowledging the humans' place among them. For the first time, the arrogance and dismissal they had shown before the arrival of the Resolute was gone. Now, humans were recognized as a serious, formidable presence in the galaxy. As the observation deck quieted, Kane turned to his crew. "Today, we have proven something important. Not just that we can build a powerful ship or counter even the strongest fleets, but that our way of thinking, our ability to adapt and innovate, is what makes us strong. Remember that. It will guide us in the challenges to come." His crew nodded, a quiet sense of pride in their eyes. Humanity had arrived among the stars, not as a weak newcomer, but as a species capable of challenging the greatest powers in the galaxy. Outside, Zorvok lingered in his command ship, watching the human battleship calmly orbit Unity Station. "They are not like us," he murmured to Trelka. "They fight differently, think differently, and that is why they are dangerous." Trelka nodded slowly. "Yes, but dangerous in a way that commands respect. They have earned it." Even Paxer's glowing eyes reflected the human ship as he whispered, "Perhaps we will learn much from them." Kane allowed himself a small smile, private but content. Today had not been about destruction or dominance. It had been about proving that intelligence, adaptability, and courage could match even the oldest and most powerful forces in the galaxy. Humans had earned a place at the table, and now the galaxy would have to take notice. As Unity Station rotated slowly against the backdrop of swirling nebulae, the alien fleets receded into space. But the memory of the human battleship, sleek, calm, and devastatingly capable, would linger in the minds of the galaxy's greatest commanders for a long time. Commander Kane looked out at the stars, thinking of the countless challenges ahead. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of surprises, but humanity had shown it could survive and even thrive among the stars. And for the first time, humans were no longer the underdogs. They were players. The Centennial Military Showcase would be remembered not just for the power of established fleets, but for the day humanity arrived and earned the respect of the galaxy. Ethan Kane turned away from the observation window, his calm smile lingering. The adventure was just beginning. The galaxy had been warned. Humanity had arrived, and they were ready.